Hi. I know it may not look like it, but I'm a bag of nerves. I'm Quinn, and I'm autistic, and today on Autistic, I'd like to have a cup of tea and a chat about anxiety. This isn't the way I normally film my videos, but then this hasn't been a normal week, nor is the next one coming. I put a lot of time and effort into the videos I make, more than I have to if I'm honest. Plenty of folks, not just in the neurodivergent space, but all over YouTube, have much bigger followings and make a lot more income out of much simpler, less crafted content. But this week, I don't have time for the usual process of setting up my studio, the lights, the stands, the green screen, the microphone boom and all that. Nor will I get opportunity to do the chroma keying, the editing, the designing graphics or searching stock libraries for B-roll and sound effects. I was thinking I wouldn't get a video out this week, maybe not for a week or two. But then a chance comment a friend made on a video message, an apology in fact, challenged my thinking and led me to here and now. My friend said they were sorry for not replying to a message sooner. We'd been discussing something about which we didn't quite see eye to eye, and I think both of us were a little uncertain of where we stood. Like I've said before, when neurodivergent folks reach adulthood, we've already stocked up a range of masks we wear to pass unnoticed in the land of the neurotypicals, and when you get to my age, you've a whole closet full. When we're dealing with other neurodivergent folks, it can take a while for us to get past all the hang-ups and protections we've built up to save our necks in NT world. The delay in question was only a matter of hours, not days or weeks, but they were concerned that it might have made me anxious. And that was both the most beautiful and unnecessary thing anyone said to me all week. It was beautiful because, well, I don't think I need to explain that to the neurodivergent folks watching. I'm not saying that the many neurotypical friends, partners, housemates and colleagues I've known in my time haven't expressed their concern for me countless times in the past, but this one was special. This time, I knew. Not just suspected or deduced, I knew with absolute certainty that it was because my friend was feeling the exact same kind of discomfort as myself, and for the same reasons. But it didn't stop them worrying. And this is a pattern I often find when I make new neurodivergent friends, especially autistic ones. Even though we've already established a strong sense of rapport and solid communication between us, we still apologise in advance for all the supposed slights we've come to expect from the neurotypical assault course we negotiate every time we step outside the front door. Sometimes not even that far. I wasn't anxious at the time. Well, not about that anyway. And that's no disrespect to my friend. I've already told them as it happens. It's just because I've got too many other things in life generating their own little anxiety bubbles to worry about this one. Besides, my friend is very much like me, and I recognised enough in their last communication to be pretty certain we're on the same page after all. Anxiety is a constant companion for autistic people, no matter how old we are, where we live, what we do, or how supportive our nearest and dearest are. The moment we step outside our safety zones, the anxiety kicks in, because if life has taught us anything, it's that no matter how carefully we plan ahead, things rarely go smoothly. People always trip us up. Now, as an autist of a certain vintage, I've obviously had to find ways to manage my anxiety in order to function at all. And that's why I'm here right now. This is an anxiety management tool today. Let me explain why. I'll have a sip of my tea first as well. Anxiety is a funny old thing, because it doesn't necessarily scale to the problem at its root. We can suffer the most overwhelming anxiety from what appear to be trivialities, yet take life-changing news in our stride. There's a couple of those life-changing news things going on in the background at the moment, and yes, they are responsible for the steady background hum of anxiety that follows me everywhere right now. That's always there, nibbling away at my attention and resolve, chipping up my executive function and generally making a nuisance of itself. And they're chiefly people-related anxieties right now. In my personal life, I'm dealing with various different doctors, with lawyers and officials who all have their own pace and individual etiquette for me to learn and comply with. I'm dealing with accountants and consultants as I try to establish this as a proper business, and they have their own set of social and professional rules and jargon for me to negotiate. We're caught in the updrafts of systems and proceedings that will change the way we live our day-to-day lives, and the best we can hope for is a favourable wind to blow us towards favourable outcomes. Our fates lie very much in the hands of other people who don't think like I do, don't communicate like I do, and despite their best efforts, still don't quite get me. So, when my friend and I stepped onto a little bit of rocky ground, it wasn't cause for anxiety. Not in the grander scheme, because I know where I stand with them. Even though we've only known each other for a few weeks, we've exchanged more vital information about who we are and how we think than some neurotypicals I've known my whole life. One of the wonderful things about having neurodivergent friends, especially those who share similar traits to ourselves, is that for once in our lives we actually can be almost certain about what someone else might be thinking. Not through training or the bitter pill of experience, but because it's so similar to our own. It's not only predictable, it feels natural. It feels right. It's a homecoming. When I got that video message showing that my friend was worried I might be anxious, it was confirmation that we're on the same page. It was a sign that they care about how I might feel and they respect those feelings. They're willing to accommodate me and give of themselves to make me more comfortable. That was a highlight for me. An up in an otherwise pretty bleak week just passed by. But whilst I'm plagued by anxieties over which I have little or no control, there are others that come from within, that I do have some control over, and that's where this video comes in. Like I said, this video is an exercise in anxiety control. Pardon me. Since about a year ago, I started taking this channel a lot more seriously because it stopped being my hobby and became my profession. I don't have the safety net of a full-time wage coming in to pay the bills anymore. All my income comes from writing, speaking and making videos, from YouTube, Patreon, donations and commissions. That income's growing, but we're still living off savings, and that's a major source of anxiety right there. Yet another thing to cast doubt on our long-term future. But unlike those issues involving doctors, lawyers and officials, this is something within my grasp. The YouTube algorithm is a fickle beast, but one thing it has always encouraged and rewarded is consistency. YouTube likes channels with a clear focus on their content, sustained quality and regular releases. If you make 4 videos in a month, you'll do far better releasing them a week apart than putting them out all at once. I'm in a roughly weekly production cycle right now, and it's helped the channel to build the momentum and growth that I really need to survive. So when I face the prospect of not getting a video out for maybe 2 or 3 weeks and the dent to this oh so valuable sense of forward progress that comes with it, the anxiety load mounted. And my breadwinner responsibilities and PDA got involved for good measure, just to put icing on the cake. But my last video went up last Sunday. And there's no way that this script that I started on the following Sunday morning could ever be up soon enough to stay within my window of opportunity. That would mean uploading on Monday at the latest, maybe Tuesday at a scrape. It takes me 40 to 50 hours to write and produce a 20-minute video start to finish, plus all the engagement, the community responsibilities and the comment moderation. This script wouldn't get to YouTube until Thursday at best, and that would be a push. The only way to get over this is to make a video really quickly. And that means facing up to another, less immediate but deeper and no less meaningful anxiety. That of not being understood. The reason I put in so much time and effort into my work is that I'm so very afraid of being misunderstood. So I do everything within my power to ensure my meaning is as clear and unambiguous as it can be. So I control every aspect of my output in intricate detail, and I always aim to do better. I can't put out a video in 24 or 36 hours unless I face up to that anxiety and step beyond it. I need to reduce my load, to shut down a few unnecessary brain apps to free up memory and resources to cope with the bits of life I can't influence. So something has to give. And that's what we're doing here now. This video might help me overcome some of my anxiety over producing simpler, straight-to-camera content. An anxiety I know is overblown because, well, other YouTubers, yada yada yada. But still an anxiety nonetheless. But it will certainly help to cure another anxiety, for a week at least. The great algorithm gods will have had their sacrifice this week, and momentum will be maintained. If enough people watch this to stay within my usual performance graph, then I'll feel more confident about doing simpler content which might allow me to make more of it. So that'll be another anxiety lifted a bit. And there's always the possibility this could be a surprise hit. I doubt it, but then it's never the videos you expect that get the most views. As long as it doesn't backfire on me, this will have served its purpose. But whichever way I look at it right now, the only sure way I have of lifting my overall burden of anxiety, including some of the more troublesome ones, is to confront some of the lesser ones, to face them head on. Autistic itself was born from my need to do something, however small, towards bettering my lot. Nobody was listening to me when I tried to explain how my autistic world differs from, but also complements, the neurotypical world we live in. So I put it on video instead. Now people listen to me and benefit from what I choose to share. I don't benefit directly from any of the wisdom I share on here because the people who wouldn't listen to me in person are even less likely to watch a video what I made. But I feel like I'm doing something that might help make the world a better place. A karma thing, maybe. Maybe this is another of those moments. Maybe I'll learn a valuable lesson from this and I can be a little less hard on myself, a little more trusting in the generosity and compassion of others than I have been. Maybe my friends are right that I worry too much and I should think of me a bit more often, but I don't know. A year ago, I faced a difficult decision. I could have gone back to a regular full-time job which would have meant closing down or at least scaling back Autistic, but I took a gamble. Something completely out of character for me. And it seems to be paying off. But I wouldn't have even done that if it weren't for the support and advice of my friends. Neurodivergent friends in particular. So I'm listening to their advice again and having a stab at exorcising a couple of my anxiety demons right here and now. I'm putting on a brave face and trying to have faith that my words are enough. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that you who watch my work are okay with it, and you'll still gain something from me waffling on without the B-roll and the animations and the little jokes. I've tried to do this before, but I've always chickened out at the last minute. Maybe me just talking about autistic anxiety in the context of the chaotic sink or swim mess that is my life right now is just what some of you want to hear. I don't know. But it is what it is. In my far more years than it actually feels like on this earth, if there's one thing I've learned that holds true for me every time, it's nothing ventured, nothing gained. You get out of life what you put in. And if you want life to get better, change starts with us. Thank you for helping me to overcome this particular anxiety block. And if you think it's okay for me to do more simple heart-to-heart videos like this when I'm pressed for time, or you hate it and would rather I just miss the odd week or two, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'm Quinn, and I'm autistic. And a little anxious now that this might actually be a bad idea. But if you're still here, thank you for watching. If you've already liked and subscribed and would like to support the channel more, then please follow the Patreon links in the description to pledge what you feel is fair and affordable to help keep the lights on here and the content keep flowing.